All right, here we are, rough draft number 1. We are doing a Dueling Brothers review of the Mardi Gras. Mine was in last week of April and into May, and his was a couple weeks ago.
September the 10th through the 17th.
So we're going to get started.
Carnival Mardi Gras.
The Carnival Mardi Gras. We're going to get started with the pre-cruise stuff. I chose to stay in Titusville. A couple reasons. One, it was quite a bit cheaper, and then it was about a 30-minute drive that morning. So it kind of cuts the drive down a little bit because we had about an 8-hour drive, and it's less hassle. So I think less hustle and bustle, less hassle, cheaper. And I stayed at the Town Place and Suites. It was good. I would stay there again. It had a big old room and kitchen, and which I didn't really need the kitchen, but it was there. And it was clean, which is always the main thing. And it did have continental breakfast, which I typically skip those, but I was just looking for something quick to get me by, and that was good enough there. And I've also stayed at the Holiday Inn before, and I would recommend both of those. But I think you stayed at the.
We stayed at Titusville, Fairfield Inn. We stayed there because it was the cheapest of all the decent hotels in Titusville. And when we got to our room, we walked in the room, and it had a terrible smell, like someone had been smoking cigarettes in the room. So we quickly went and reported it because we didn't want to get clipped for the fees because we don't smoke anyway. So anyway, they moved us to a different room, which they claimed it was an upgrade even though it was smaller. Anyway, it didn't smell at all. So no problems there. It was clean. The people there weren't terribly friendly. I mean, I probably would stay somewhere else next time, but no problems. But introduction, we forgot that.
I'm Bubba.
Bubba from Bubba. I'm his older brother, Brent. This Carnival Mardi Gras was my 29th cruise. So Brandon's somewhere in that range.
Somewhere close to that, maybe a couple behind.
Yeah, we've cruised. I think we've cruised all aspects of life. My first cruise was 2nd grade. His was kindergarten because he's 2 years younger. So we've cruised as kids, teenagers, young adults. I've cruised as a married guy now, and now as a kid with a toddler. So I mean, I think we've kind of got the whole cycle of life to cruise under. So.
I think if you're looking to save some money, I think Titusville's a good place to stay. The
drive's short.
Because I think it was over $100 cheaper.
Yeah, the rooms right at the port have gotten really expensive, and the parking cruise packages were just like $300 to $400, and this was like I paid $130 for our room. That way allowed us to park at the pier for $136 for a 7-day cruise.
I think I paid a little bit less than $200, but mine was sort of more in the peak season.
Yeah, mid-September is off season, so the prices are typically cheap on everything. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, it was cheaper than staying at the port, and we parked at the pier, which was fabulous. It's worth the extra money, in my opinion. Yeah, and we're very, very thrifty people.
But yeah, moving over to the check-in process, I think that's the biggest thing we learned. In the past, I've always used Port Canaveral, and they've worked great, but they no longer work great, so I'm no longer recommending them. They used to have big old Greyhound buses that they would carry you in, and now they have a little bitty like hotel van shuttle things with a pull-behind luggage cart. So that's caused for a big delay. I think the last
3 times.
Twice, like I used them, it was probably about an hour wait, and I thought it was just bad luck. And then my mom used them a couple weeks ago and had the same experience. So I wouldn't, and they also went up on the rate, so you're only saving about $5 a day, so you're saving roughly $50,
$40,
and it's just not worth the hassle, even with the little coupon code you can usually get. But you parked at the pier, and it was much better.
I think it's worth double. I mean, we parked the parking spot right close to the guard shack where you pay your bill when you come in, $136 for a 7-day cruise, because you pay for 8 days, even though it's a 7-day cruise. But still, it's $136 total, less taxes. We got off the ship, went right to the car, out the door. It was worth it.
And I think y'all do the old thing where you drop one person off with the luggage.
We did. Well, we dropped our luggage off with the porters at first, and then we carried it out.
Okay.
We couldn't find a porter that day for whatever reason. We carried it to the car, so it was really, really simple.
Yeah. Like one downside about the official parking is that at the pier you can't pay in advance, so I don't like that. But
you pay when you enter the parking lot.
But yeah, so that's one a little bit negative. But
and it's credit card only. There's no cash type things.
But one of the pre-cruise stresses for me, which isn't really relevant anymore, so we'll just quickly go over, was when I went, you had to do the negative COVID test and all that stuff, but thankfully that is gone.
We were on the first Carnival cruise on the Mardi Gras without pre-cruise testing. The first non-vaccinated cruise or whatever it is. Our cruise left September 10th. The new rules went into place September 6th.
And in the check-in process, did you get there, have any problems getting checked in?
No, it was super simple. I mean, we even our toddler has a passport and has vaccinated. He has a card. So with the cards, vaccination cards to prove you're vaccinated and passports, it was a really simple process.
Yeah, I think like we got on the ship about 11 o'clock, so that's about as early as you're going to get. We were ready, and we had to wait probably because we got there so early. We had to wait a little bit, waiting on them. But anytime you get on 11 o'clock, I think it's a little bit before 11 o'clock even. It's about as good as you're going to get.
But yeah, we got to the pier right at 10 and boarded right after 11. We were the third group, like A3 to board. So. Yeah. And and it's talking about the end of the cruise, but we both recommend traveling with passports, just because when I left the debarkation line to check through customs for a non-passport with birth certificates was wrapped out around the baggage terminal. Right. Us with passports just went right, not even waited in line, scanned them, and we were out the door with the facial recognition software, and it makes traveling a lot simpler.
All right. So, and we're gonna try to keep these short, so that's all for now.